So good evening, everyone. So today we're going to be discussing chapter 6 and 7. Now, I did not do a Kahoot today. Instead, I emailed you guys blank copies of journal pages and a few mock general notary work certificates. Okay. Tonight, I want you guys to really focus on um, filling out journal entries and filling out certificates, okay? Because that is the most important part of our job. You're not going to be able to complete any notarization without notarial wording, which is your notarial certificate. Angelica, you put your email because you didn't get
I never gave you my email because I didn't need the notifications. I put it in my calendar, so I just sent it to you now.
Okay, so you need me to send you over those copies I was mentioning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go here, do that. So yeah, guys, we're going to use this session to practice on those documents, okay? We're not going to be doing a Kahoot tonight. Chapter 6 and 7 is really the meat and potatoes of what we do and how we perform our notarial duties. So I really wanted to have a really in-depth conversation with you guys regarding these chapters, and hopefully you did read them and are able to give me some really good feedback on what it is that you came across in the chapters. But let me find this. Okay, here. And okay, yes, it's going to work that way. Okay, good. Working this too. All right, sounds like I may be getting some more emails. Okay. All right, guys, bear with me. I see that you all have posted your email, so I'm assuming you also did not get this information. So give me time to email you guys real quick. And then let me know if you got the email too, because I hit send. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. Resend to Jackie. If I have your email set up for the notifications, it makes it easier for me when I decide to make any changes. I can just email you any information. Let's see. Marlo. I'm missing someone tonight. Who am I missing? My girl from Washington. I don't see her today. Or is she here?
Thinking of Jane.
I don't see her either.
Dang.
She's usually the first person here.
Exactly. What the heck? Jane is the only one that really talks to me. Nobody else wants to talk to me during these meetings.
She's the one who got me to come on here because I'm in Washington as well.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome.
Thank
all right,
you.
So that's all the emails. I'm about to send it out.
Not here either.
Exactly. See?
And they both always talk.
Exactly. Sheesh. The only people that talk to me are not here. Well, Angelica and Key, you talk to me, but Jane and Carolyn, they really get me going.
I understand what I'm talking about.
What'd you say?
I talk when I understand what I'm talking about.
All right, guys, I sent the email. Did you get it? Let me get my book here together. Chapter 6. Now, is there anybody in the group who doesn't have the book and they're just here to follow along?
Me.
Who was that? Ayana? Okay.
I don't have the book either. Just following along.
All right.
This is Roseanne. I don't have the book either. I'm just following along.
I don't have the book
Okay.
either. I'm following along.
All right. Well, that's good to know.
Mhm.
All right. Did you guys all get the email, the ones who I sent the emails to?
I don't see it. Let me check my spam folder.
Yes, Marion, I did.
I'm
Okay.
not seeing it. Haven't gotten mine yet.
Yeah, I didn't
Kevin,
receive it either.
Just FYI, the invitation went to the inbox, but the attachments went to my spam for some reason, in case anyone's still looking for it.
Oh, crap. You know what? I didn't push send. I didn't push send. I'm sorry. That's my bad. But it's good that I didn't because somebody else just put their email. So, okay. You're going to receive 2 emails, guys. One is the copies of the journal pages, and then the other one is going to be copies of some general notary documents. I used the general notary documents in another training that I did. So you may have already seen them if you watched my training videos, but I didn't want to prepare any new ones. So that's why. No, that's not.
Just got my email.
Okay. I have to copy everybody. I thought I. Okay, come on down. So I can see everybody. This is making me mad. Okay. I have to do this again. Please send to. All right, guys, give me a second. I'm sorry for the delay, but unfortunately, I can't just copy all the. Yes, that's right, Tail. Those are the 3 documents. I can't just copy all of these emails at once. I have to do them individually. All right, I gotta go back up. Son of a gun. Son of a gun. Okay. I think Jackie's already there. Yeah. Okay. Hey, got Jackie. Wait, you said that you got the email of the general notary? You didn't get the email of the journal pages? I sent the journal pages first. Not unless somebody else, not unless you're talking about you got my email from earlier, because I did email everybody. Anybody who signed up to get notifications, I already have your email saved. So whenever I need to email you, I can just copy and paste. But for these other people who I don't just have their email readily available, I have to email them right now. So for those of you who I already have your email, you should already have those 2 emails already. So I don't have to send them again. I think this is it. Okay.
This is Angelica, and you didn't have my email, and it looks like the only one that I received were the journal entries.
Yes. So far, that's right. Because I tried to copy and paste it from the other email onto the new email, and it said invalid. So I had to copy y'all individually again. So you should get it now. Please tell me you got it.
I did.
You didn't?
It just popped up.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Oh, crap. I got somebody else on here. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. All right. Let me send. Uh-oh. Somebody else messaging. Okay. All right, I gotta send one more and then we can get started. No, no more email. Okay. No more email. Okay. Let me forward this. Okay, I'm forwarding the journal. And then forwarding the general notary docs. And guys, if you see it coming from a travel email, that's another email of mine too, because I'm a travel agent. So that's me. I just have two different emails, one for my notary and one for my travel business. Okay, so everybody should have gotten the email now, right? Everybody got the documents?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so let's wait. Somebody else's email. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so let's
We should have two emails from you, correct?
say it again.
Should have two emails from you.
Yes, just two. One with the journal pages and one with the general notary documents.
First, this is Ayana. Send me the document and any other emails that come through, I'll forward from my end, so that way you can keep going.
Okay. Dee, did you get it, Mayana?
Did you send it to me?
I don't know.
I don't think I signed up for notifications.
Okay. I'm gonna send them to you, and then you can.
I didn't get it.
Wait, say it again. Who didn't get it?
Sharon.
Sharon, you didn't get it.
About a lease, was that what you're talking about? A lease document?
Yes.
I got a residential lease. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yes, those are mock documents we're going to be working on tonight.
Okay, I got the residential lease. That was it. It's like 5 of those all together.
It should be 3 different files though.
No, I only got that one file. I don't know why. Nope, that's all I got. I just got the full 5 document lease.
Oh gosh, let me see. Okay, the journal. Okay, the journal one. That one is up. And then the other one. Yeah, it says 3 attachments: real estate, Georgia revocation, and oh shoot, did I send the revocation twice?
Georgia revocation. Okay, I have it. Okay, I have it. Thank you.
The revocation twice. I wasn't supposed to send that twice. Okay, whatever. Then we'll just have 2 to work on. It's supposed to be 3 different ones, but I'm not about to go through that and re-email. Okay. Ayana, I sent some to you. So if you see any more emails pop up, if you could just forward it, please. To those people.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's get started. Chapter 6, the Journal of Notary Acts. So we all know that Journal of Notary Acts is supposed to be kept in chronological order. Okay, chronological order means the way that you complete your notarization. So if you did a notarization yesterday, you did one today, you did one tomorrow, they should all be in order of when you did them. Okay, some people in some states where a journal is not regulated, they're keeping multiple journals. That's not best practice, but to each his own. Okay, you should not have more than one journal being used at one time. Okay, there's no such thing as having one for signings and one for general notary. They all go in one journal chronologically. Okay, that's the best way to do it. In the chapter here, it tells you what every journal should have as far as journal entries go. Now, keep in mind, every state is different. Okay. For example, those of you from Texas, there is certain information that you cannot collect. You can't even collect a thumbprint. So the journal referenced here in the copy that I sent you that's probably not the type of journal you would use. I don't know if there's a Texas specific journal because I'm in Florida, but I would assume that if you're using a journal that we're all using, that you would not use that fingerprint portion. Yeah, you guys cannot put any personal identifying information in your journals. That's for Texas though. So in Florida, I can. In Texas, you cannot. So here for journal entries, it says, you know, you want to have the date and time of the act. You want to have the type of act, the date of the document. Sometimes you will get documents that, hold on, something popped up on my screen, sorry. Sometimes you will get documents that are dated for another date. So that's why they have that field there for you to put the date of the document, because sometimes the date of the document will differ from the actual date of notarization. Okay, so keep that in mind. They won't always match. And then we have the title or type of document or transaction. You definitely want to put what type of document you are notarizing, okay? In case you have to prove that sometime in the near future. You want to have the printed name and address of each signer and witness, how each signer was identified. Was it personal knowledge? Was it via credible witness, or was it via an identifying document like, you know, passport, ID, or what have you? Any other pertinent information. Now, this is important. It's important that you guys use a journal that has either a notes section or additional information section. Okay. The reason why is because if there's anything significantly, hold on, something else up there. Anything that stood out significantly, you want to be able to put that in the notes. Okay. Because like I said, if you are asked about a notarization you did 7 years ago, you're not going to remember every little thing that happened that day. It may have been an odd notarization to begin with. And if you didn't take notes so that you can remember, then you're not going to really be, you know, that good of a witness, you know what I'm saying, in court. You're just going to be like, yeah, I just know that I notarized for them. That's all. And that's it. I ain't putting nothing else. Well, did you remember if they, you know, were, you know, not willing? Do you remember, you know, did they have on something particular that made their signature look different? I don't know. I didn't write that down. You know, so you want to keep good notes. Okay. So make sure that the journal you purchase has an additional information part or, you know, a note section. Okay. Now, the notary fee charged, they have that too. Some journals don't. You can use it. Some people don't. That's what I'll say about that. Okay, but it's there for you to use if you want to keep record of the notarization. And for some states, they do want you to use it because they want to make sure you're not charging the people more than what you're supposed to charge them in the state anyway. The signature of each signer and witness and the right thumbprint. But of course, like I said, this is just what. Go ahead.
Okay, so you know where we put the amount of the notary fee? Is that just going to be the state charge
Yes.
if you're able to, not including traveling things, literally just your $10? Okay.
Yep.
And then if you
Some
don't
of them,
charge, go ahead.
I was gonna say some of them have a travel fee part too. Like they'll have a notary fee and they'll also have on their travel fee.
Okay, but we're not required to keep track of like your travel fee or anything like that, just the notary fee. I mean, as far as
you keep track of it on your own, but in your journal, no, they don't.
Okay.
It's not a requirement.
And then if you don't charge anything, are you supposed to write out no charge, or can you do just like a 0? Because I know in the chapter in the practice section, I did the 0 for that one section. But then if you look at how it's supposed to be, it says no charge.
Nope, you're not going to see anything, Jackie. I'm literally reading from the book in my face. I have access to the digital book, but the problem is as soon as I start sharing my screen for anything, I feel like my connection starts getting laggy and I start freezing up and stuff. So
I have
Angelica,
one
yes, you
question.
can put 0. Yes, you can. I put 0. If I have more than one person, but I'm only charging the one fee because it's only one document, then, for each person, I may put $10 for the first person and put 0 for the other because them together was one transaction.
Okay, got it.
Someone else had a question?
I did. Hi, I'm Terry. I had a question in reading the book. There was a reference that if you wanted to write some type of descriptive information, like, the person was very nervous,
Mm-hmm.
is that something you want? I mean, you have to get the signer to sign. So can you add that after the fact?
Can, because, what I think that you're saying is, can you add it after they've signed your journal?
Yeah, the person appeared nervous. I mean, I wouldn't want the signer to see that in the journal when they
Right.
sign it.
There's nothing wrong with you adding information about the notarization in the notes section after the fact. Because like you said, you don't want them to be looking like, well, what do you mean? Why did you put on there that I was so no.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
That's perfectly fine. As long as you're not altering any personal identifying information about the notarization.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, the type of notary act. I know a lot of times people are just so, kind of confused about the different notarial acts. Every state does not perform all of the same, types of notarizations. You have some states that do signature witnessing. You have some that do copy certifications. You have some that do the oath of affirmation, some that don't. So you have to know what type of notarizations are done in your state. Okay, only you will know that. Only someone else in your state will know that. I wouldn't know that. That's not my state. Okay. Now, you do want to write that, what type of notarization it was. Was it an acknowledgement? Was it a jurat? Was it an oath of affirmation? Was it a copy certification? Was it a signature witnessing? Okay. Were you solemnizing marriage for the states that can perform wedding officiant duties? Okay. And then, like, we already went over the date of document. And then you definitely want to put the date and time of notarization. That's very important. What day did you notarize? Around what time? What time were you notarizing the document for them? Okay. And then, like he was saying, for Texas, there are some things that you just cannot put in your journal. And I know it goes over that here in the chapter saying what you should put in your journal, but you should be very, very knowledgeable about your own state specific duties. Okay. Now, we do over the thumbprint, other notary records. Now, I know we were reading where it says, other notary records, keeping copies and things like that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't keep any copies of, information. I would just use that note section to write down anything that I thought stood out about that whole transaction. I wouldn't feel comfortable keeping copies of people's stuff that I notarized. That's what my journal is for. And I think that was it about that chapter there.
I think somewhere in chapter 7, let me see if I can find it. It says something about keeping copies of something. Give me one second.
It was in chapter 6. It was chapter 6 where it says other notary records here. Like copies of written remarks from a physician about a signer's ability to understand.
I was confused because I know we had discussed that like a week or so ago. So I was like,
yeah, about a person having the willingness and being aware of what's going on. So I would just write it in the notes like physician document presented stating that I'm sorry, I'm thinking about my job. Saying that the signer was, aware and, willing or whatever. I think the doctor will only give you a note saying that they are aware, like they're aware of what's going on. But they can't really tell you if they're willing or not. So, but no, I wouldn't want to keep a copy of that.
How long do you have to keep your journal? Is that like a state-specific thing?
I think it is a state-specific thing. I know for us, it should be 10 years. But Laura Buer, she did a video, obviously. It was like a meeting I attended in live where she was saying that she ended up being asked for her journal, like for a notarization that she did 12 years ago. So it just so happened that she still had her journal and was able to, provide that information. So I know it's 10 years, but I don't think it's an issue with you keeping it longer. Signature by mark. You ID the person doing the signature by mark. 63. Yeah, you still have to ID the person. You have to ID everybody that you're doing notarization for.
I called your name. I said Amazon.
Who's that?
You might want to put your mic on mute.
Okay, I muted her. What was I saying? Yeah, you want to still ID them, Key, even though they're signing with signature by mark. You still got to ID them.
Okay, in what situation would you need to do a signature by mark? Because on page 66, I kind of got further confused on when and where they would put their information, or where I would put their information in the journal.
That's what I had questions about too, is the top paragraph on 66.
Okay, so let me look at it here. In addition to the signature of the document signer, the signature and printed name should be entered for each credible identifying witness, subscribing witness, and witness to a signing by mark. Since the credible identifying witness identifies the signer, this individual's signature may be recorded in the identification area if space permits. Otherwise, an additional journal entry line may be used. The subscribing witness will sign in the signature column, and the witness to a signing by mark will write the marker's name next to the mark in the signature column and sign his or her own name in the additional information column. Okay, so what part of that were you confused about?
I was confused on, in the journal, where we put information about the signature mark for starters. So is it kind of like on 63, the example where they're putting their actual signature under how we identified the signer? Because whoever John Tyson is the signature, signed by signature, and then you actually have a different name, Richard Mason, who's the signature of the signer.
So what I took from that, reading that, I've never had to do a signature by mark, so I don't have any personal experience to share with you guys. But one, a person would do a signature by mark if they are not able to sign their name. Okay. If a person had a stroke and they only write with their right hand, but they had a stroke, they're no longer able to, write a whole signature, but maybe they can muster up a mark, Then it was saying here in the journal that the subscribing witness will write the marker's name next to the mark in the signature column, and the witness will sign their name in the additional information column. Now, as far as the printed name goes, it says printed name should be entered for each credible identified witness. The credible identifying witness identifies the signer. This individual's signature may be recorded in the identification area. Okay, so you would fill out the person's information, but for the signing part, that's going to be the witness. The witness is going to be doing the signing part. And the signature by mark, they're going to put theirs in the actual signature, and then you're going to write on there a mark of the signer. And the witness is signing in the additional information part, not where the signature part goes. Does that make sense?
Say that last part one more time. So the person who's signing for the signee would go in the signature of the signer. So like if I was signing for you because you were unable to sign, my name would go in the signature of the signer, and then your name would go into the identifier.
No, your name, your signature is going to go into the additional information block. My mark is going to go into my signature. The sign signature, that's my mark. And beside my mark, you're going to, where the notary will write, mark of whoever the signer is. That's how you would notate that in the signature. And then as far as the person you're notarizing for, you're still going to put that information, like, for the name and address of the signer. But for the identification of signer is the part, like, I wonder, because they're a witness, you will put their information where it says, the identification of signer part. Is what I'm thinking is saying on 66. Let me read it again.
Yeah, see, that's why I was confused, because I was like, would it go under identification of signer, even though they're signing for someone else? But you're saying to sign the person who would technically be signing but doesn't know how to write. For like example, my dad was pulled out of school in 3rd grade, worked in the fields. So he never learned how to read and write. So he signs his name with an X, or signed his name with X. So he would put his X under signature of signer. And then in that same block, I would notate that it is the signer's signature. And then the mark of so-and-so. And then the person who is actually signing for my father would still sign under identification of signer, or they would sign an additional information, and we would notate in there that they signed for signer.
It says that by mark will write the marker's name next to the mark in the signature column and sign his or her own name in the additional information column. So the witness to a signing by mark would sign his or her own name in the additional information column. That's what it says here. So yeah, that can really be confusing. And I think that the best information that you can get is going to be from your state notary book. Because I know in my primer, it does make mention of that, someone signing by mark. So although there's real general information in here, I always, even though I read this, I always still go back to my state handbook.
Okay.
To really see what it is that my state wants me to do regarding that type of situation. Okay. Did anybody else have questions about Chapter 6?
I do. This is Terry again about the thumbprint.
Okay.
I don't believe New Jersey requires a thumbprint, but it would be prudent for me to get thumbprints on all my entries.
That is a best practice because, like we all know, people's signatures change over time. You get older, you write a little sloppier, or, write a little different, or don't write at all, for that matter. Okay. So having a thumbprint can help, to prove that this person was in your presence and, you notarize a document for them. Because what if a person, loses their memory? Like, I've never seen that person before. I've never had anything notarized. And then you have your journal and you're like, here it is. That doesn't even look like my signature. Okay, well, we got a thumbprint. Let's just double check to make sure. Oh, it's your thumbprint. Well, maybe I did before, but I don't remember, so yeah, it can help. It can help. But if you're in a state where it's not required, you definitely don't want to do it, but like in my state, it's not required.
But you can do it even though it's not required.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. So in New York, the witness to a signing by mark, the witnesses sign the document in the notary journal. One of the witnesses should also print the signer's name in the journal and beside the mark on the document. Okay, Nicole, are you telling me that or you're asking me that?
I'm sorry. This is Nicole. I'm
Mhm.
telling you that I was just reading in the New York
Oh, okay.
Notary primer here.
See, perfect. See, so that's why I'm saying if you guys have a state that has a primer, especially from National Notary Association, or if you buy it from the um, American Association of Notaries, it is an important book that you want to keep on you at all times because you never know. Like I said, you can get so many different answers to questions, but the last say so should be whatever your state says. Okay. So I'm glad that you looked that up because I know in my book it does say something about signature by Mark II. I don't remember exactly what it says because I've never had to look back at it, but I do know that it does say something in there about it. All right, guys. So on page 72, I want you, if you did not, practice on this little bitty piece of paper, this piece of cut and copy right here, that's why I gave you a blank copy of journal pages, right? So I want you guys to take a go at number 12. And for those of you who don't have the book, I'm going to go ahead and read it off to you. And then you're going to go ahead and fill it out for yourself, okay? So it says here, make a journal entry for the following notarial act. Today at 3:15, Harold P. Garvey, I'll spell his name in the chat for you. Harold P. Garvey. You need to get down. Get down. Get down. Get. Stop. No. Hold on, guys. Just hard-headed. Okay. A close friend appears before you to acknowledge his signature on a grant deed that he signed yesterday. He lives at 4321 Elm Street in your town and zip code. And you are not charging him for the notarization. Let me know when you guys are done filling out your journal entry for that notarization. I could have sworn I brought an oatmeal cream pie upstairs. Where is it? Oh, if my son took
Is
it, I'm
that
gonna
why
kick
we
him
can't
again.
see you today? You over there munching. You eating dinner. We
Girl,
can't see you.
girl, yeah, I didn't want to take a chance. I may have some food in my teeth or something like that, Won't be posting that on YouTube or nothing. They're like, oh, she could have at least made sure she looked presentable. No, I'm just gonna turn my video off. All right, guys, let me know when you're done because I'm going to ask you column by column what you put in there based off of the information I gave you or that you already looked at on your in the book. Angelica, done? Okay.
I did my homework this week.
All right. Also, guys, if you need me to read it again, I will.
Can you read it again for me, please?
Yes. So today at 3:15 p.m., Harold P. Garvey a close friend appears before you to acknowledge his signature on a grant deed signed yesterday. He lives at 4321 Elm Street in your town and zip code. You do not charge for the notarization. Guys, this is why I didn't do a Kahoot tonight, because I can't do a Kahoot for this. Like, I don't even know how I would do that.
I was
I was like,
ready too because I was multitasking last week and I let somebody beat me and I was not with it because I'm super competitive. And I was like, oh, heck no, I did it twice. Oh, I was so sad. I was coming back tonight for you. Am I saying your name right? I was coming for you.
Yeah, I could not figure out. What'd you say, Key?
I was ready.
Oh, you guys are so funny. Yeah, I wanted to do it, but I kept trying to figure out, I was like, well, maybe I'll do a Kahoot for them to, do like the glossary part. Like maybe I was going to just do definitions and then you match the words to the definition. And then I was just like, no.
Column. You can do it by column with multiple choices, like what would have went in the date and time.
Yeah, I could have did that. Maybe I'll do that for another time. Maybe not during the book club meeting.
I did it on one of the questions in 7, like that had multiple answers being filled in. It lets you pick like letters for the ones that's supposed to go in each section.
Okay.
It was number 8 in the test on chapter 7. It was like on this, the blank day of blank, and then it had A, B, C, D to fill in the options. And then you put in the letters in those 3 blanks that matched each one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wanted you guys to get some practice in, especially for those of you who have yet to do a notarization. I just want you to see how it's going to feel, to feel this out, because otherwise you don't get any other examples. And then you don't want to practice in your real journal, so I thought this was pretty cool to do it this way.
I don't mean to jump back to the signature of Mark, but I just read in the Texas primer, you have to have 2 additional witnesses to the signature of Mark when you're putting in the journal.
Okay. I'm so happy that you guys are referencing your primers too for your state, but that's important. That's going to be your best source of information throughout your whole career of being a notary.
What was our document?
What was what now?
What was our description of the document?
Oh. Let's see. Appears before you to acknowledge his signature on a grant deed signed yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, we done now, guys? Everybody done? Okay, I assume that you are. All right, so in column 1, where it says month, day, year, time of notarization, what are we putting?
July 12th, 2021.
Yes.
No.
Today's date, July 13th.
Yes.
Oh, because we're going to everything.
Yep, it says month, day, year, time of notarization. So you're going to put today's date. And then what time are we putting?
7:49.
3:15.
3:15 p.m. Yep. In the very beginning, it said
Let me stop
today at
multitasking.
3:15. Huh? What'd you say?
I said, let me stop multitasking. I'm over here trying to eat.
Yes, it says today at 3:15 p.m. So what we're putting in that column is today's day, which is July 13th, and we're putting the time 3:15 p.m. The next column, kind or type of notarization. What do we put there?
Acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement.
Bingo. Yep, you're right. Now, what about the type of document though?
Grant deed.
Grant deed.
Right. So we will put grant deed and we'll put acknowledgement. Correct. Now, what about the column where it says document date? What date are we putting for the document?
July 12th.
That's fine.
Good job. Yep.
Go away, Key.
Oh, you know what it says here for document kind and type. So we would put grant deed there. I didn't see it. I gotta really look. It's so bright. I mean, okay, there we go. I can barely see it. And I know I got good vision. Let me turn my light on. Okay. So guys, I take that back. So where it says kind and type of notarization, you're putting acknowledgement. And for the document kind or type, that's where you put in grant deed. Okay. So correct that. I'm sorry, I didn't see. I'm sorry.
Are we to
Did you
write
say
in
something
grant deed
different
in the
than that?
blank?
Wait, hold on. Two people were talking at the same time. So where it says kind or type of notarization, guys, that's acknowledgement. Okay, so erase grant deed or cross it out. You're not going to put grant deed there. You're going to put grant deed where it says document kind or type.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Right.
I didn't see it. I had to turn the light on. So that's my error.
That was my question. I was like, I thought that's what you said the first time, but I guess that wasn't.
What I said the first time was wrong. I just couldn't see the column.
Are we to write grant deed in the blank there? I'm confused.
Yeah, where it says document kind or type, you're going to type grant. I mean, you're going to write grant deed.
That's the fourth box.
Yeah.
That's the fourth box. Got it? All right. The next column, we have name and address of signer. What did we put there?
Harold P. Garvey.
Yes.
4321 Elm Street, Tampa, Florida.
All right. Good deal. Next, identification of signer. What did we put there?
Personally known by Notary.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Good. Now, are we putting anything in the additional information column?
No.
Okay. What about notary fee column?
No charge.
All right. Good deal. And then they're signing and applying their thumbprint. Now I'm going to throw in my own entry for you guys, okay? So I'm going to type it in here, okay? I think that's enough numbers. If it's not, whatever. Um, shoot. 11, 20. Fire. 21.
While you're typing, Jane said she just messaged me and said that she fell off a ladder today. That's why she's not on.
Oh my gosh.
She's okay.
Is
She
she
said
okay?
she went to urgent care.
Oh
She's
my
sad she
God.
missed today. She'll be back on next week.
Oh my God. Tell her I said, please be careful and get plenty of rest.
I will.
My
Tell her
goodness.
we miss her.
Absolutely. Tell her her presence was definitely missed. All right. There you go, guys. Oh man, I forgot to put my little backslash right there for the date. I hate when I have typos.
Can't see your screen.
I'm sorry, guys. Look in the chat. I put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Here's my cream pie. Okay. I was about to get mad at my son, guys. I thought he took my cream pie all along. It's been behind my laptop. Hmm. Hey, close the door. Brandon, close the door. You know, to the stairs. Turn that TV down. Let me know when you guys are done.
I don't know why, but I feel like this is a trick one.
It is.
And I think I know where it's at.
I'm done.
Well, I can't give you an easy one like they did in the book. You're not going to always be like that.
I'm done.
Okay. Now that I got my light on, let me just turn my whole office light on because this little lamp is not really helping me out. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I forgot one thing. She. adding to it, guys. Sorry, I just noticed an error that I made.
Give us the document type.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Sorry.
I thought that was your trick.
Nope, it was not. No. Here we go. There we go, guys. Sorry. Turn this lamp off this way. Now I can see. Okay, so we should be ready now. Okay, so in column 1, what are we putting for the month, day, year, time of notarization?
July 13th, 2021.
Good. And the time?
1:30 p.m.
All right, good deal. Second column, kind or type of notarization?
Affidavit of residency.
Jurat.
No.
Jurat.
Jurat is correct.
Jurat. Okay.
Yeah. What about the document date?
It's not dated.
That's your trick.
It's not dated.
But it
So
will be
you would automatically
May the
Not do
13th.
July 13th.
No, you would have the signer put the date before you proceed, correct?
So if your document doesn't, if your document does not already have a date on it, then the date of the document is the date of notarization.
Yes, that is in the chapter.
All right. Next column, document kind or type.
Affidavit of residency.
Yep. And the name and address of signer.
Michelle R. Smith. 555 Davy Court.
And in your town and zip code. Good. Next, we have identification of signer. What are we putting in that column?
ID card.
Florida
Yep.
ID.
Florida ID.
Yep. And we're making sure we check off the box that we identify her using one of the ID cards that is permitted by your state, right? Are we filling out anything in the additional information section?
No.
No.
And then
Yes.
what about
I mean,
what will we put in there? If you say yes, what will we put in there?
Couldn't you say the document was arrived with no date?
Well, no, that's not really anything significant. A lot of documents that you come across are not going to be predated.
Especially a jurat. Okay. An affidavit. Okay.
All right. So yeah, we wouldn't put anything in additional information not unless there was something something specific about the notarization that you noticed. You know, maybe it was something about the signer that just was kind of off or something like that. What about notary fee? What are we putting in the notary fee column?
$5.
Yep, you're right. So we're going to move on. Now we're moving on to the notary certificate and seal. And that's when we're going to practice on those documents that I have sent you guys.
Okay, so before we move on, can we go back to the question? So
Yes.
I'm looking at this, and she's got a Florida driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
The ID number, Florida driver's license will have a Florida address. But she lives in my town and zip code. So I live in Virginia. So if she's presenting with the Florida driver's license, but she has a Virginia address, is that license current?
Yes. So a lot of documents you're going to come across, the person may be in a different state than where they live, and they have to get a document notarized. They don't have to wait till they get home to do that. They can just go to a notary wherever they are and have the document notarized. And you would put, if their ID has an old address, they will tell you, or you can ask, is the address listed on your ID current? I always ask because sometimes, especially during this pandemic, people weren't able to get to the DMV to change their ID if they moved during the pandemic. Like I moved during the pandemic and I didn't get a chance to get a new ID with my new address until 3 weeks after I moved.
Okay, so we can then accept that she has a Florida ID with a Florida address, but she lives in a different state now.
Yes, because it's still an identification. It doesn't have to be ID for the state. You just want to make sure it's not expired.
Okay, I thought
You can't take an expired ID for any state.
Yeah, I thought
but what if she's on vacation and her lawyer emailed this to her and said, I need you to get this notarized and back to me before the end of the day. She's not going to wait till she gets off of vacation. And so when you see her, she has a Florida ID, it doesn't really matter. A person, as long as a person has an ID, it does not have to match the state where you are.
Oh, sure. I understand that people from out of state with a ID that matches the address that they have, we can do that in any state. But what I'm questioning here is that she has a Florida address. Well, she has a Florida ID, which I assume has a Florida address, but now she lives in a whole different state.
So you can ask her.
So do we have to, does the ID have to be current with the correct address?
No.
Okay.
No, it does not. It doesn't make it invalid.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question about recording the ID.
Yes.
For privacy purposes, what exactly are you recording? Like the last four of a driver's license, or the serial number?
You're recording the ID number, and if you're able to take the information at all, you're recording the ID number, issue date, expiration date, and of course the issuer. Who was the issuer and what type of identification is it?
Okay. Okay, the ID number would typically be like the driver's license, no?
That's the driver's license number.
The entire driver's license number. Okay.
Yes. But what if you had a passport? It'll be different. It'll be the passport ID number.
Okay. And it's okay to record the entire series of numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as it's okay in your state. Remember.
Right.
It's okay in my state, but I don't know if it.
I'll check. Yeah.
Nancy, there's a
No, the other people want to know something just to go in around.
I hear it.
Okay, you guys ready to jump over to the next chapter?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. All right, so chapter 7, the notary certificate and seal. There's no certificate, no seal. Are we completing the notarization at all?
No.
No, we're not. We need that. That's how we perform our duty, okay? Those are our tools, okay? So, what you want to make sure of, and I can share an experience with you guys that I had just recently. You want to make sure that the contents of the notarial certificate are there. All of them, not some of them, all of them have to be there. If for some reason anything is missing, you can write it in if there's space available. If not, you will have to attach a loose certificate unless the document specifies it is permitted. It's not permitted. Okay. The contents of the notarial certificate are the venue, which is stating your state and county where you are notarizing at that time. Of course, you can only notarize in the state that you're commissioned, but you could notarize for any county. You know, of course, if you're traveling, if you're a mobile notary, you're not going to always be notarizing in the county that you are living in. You know, so if, for example, if I live in Broward, but every once in a while I find myself in Broward or St. Lucie County. So when I'm filling out my certificate, I'm always going to put Florida for the state, but for the county is always going to be where you are at the time of notarization. It's not going to be where your commission is going to be where you are at that time for the county. Okay. Your statement of particulars, that portion of the certificate, it describes what the notary has certified, you know. So what are you certifying is being done today for the transaction? You're certifying that this person came before you and is acknowledging their signature on the document, or they came before you to swear or affirm that the contents of the document are true to the best of their knowledge. Okay, so you need that. You need that notarial wording, and it's called the statement of particulars. You're also going to find sometimes you're going to have a testimonium clause, and sometimes you're not. It's not required, but some documents do have it and some don't. Okay. That is basically just witness my hand and official seal. It does not have to say that. If you apply your seal of signature, you're basically doing the same thing. Okay. It's just some documents will say it and some won't. Okay. And then, of course, if you have a certificate with the venue, statement of particulars, and an area for signature and seal of notary, that needs to be done in order for that certificate to be complete. If you have a notary certificate, you are signing and sealing it. You're not doing one or the other unless you're in a state where you can. You have some states where a stamp is not required. So you can just sign it and, you know, write the information of your commission and be done. Let's see. Now, when you're completing your certificate, oh no, we went through that though. I went through the venue part. Now, filling in your certificate. Now, guys, and this happens a lot with the loan signings. Sometimes you're going to come across a certificate where it's going to have different identifying words. Is, are, he, she, they. So you don't want to leave those. Okay. You want to mark off whatever does not apply. So if you see is, are, you're going to mark off the one that doesn't apply. If you see he, she, they, if it is two people signing, two people acknowledging that you're signing for, then you're going to mark off, you're going to strike a line through he and she because it'll be they. If it's just one person, God, dog, and cat, get off me. If you're just acknowledging for one person, it's a male, you're going to mark off and you strike a line through she and they, and then he is going to be there. Okay. So whatever is best suited for the signer in that situation is what you're going to leave, but you're going to strike a line through everything else. Okay. Let's see. What else? And yeah, go ahead.
I have a question while you sorting through the next thing.
Yes.
Hello? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
When you were saying you have to mark off the he, she, that she's not, or the whoever is there, you marking off what's not being used. Is it okay to circle the one that needs to be used?
No, you just want to leave it. You want to only make a mark on the ones that do not apply. You do not need to circle or underline or put a star. You don't want to do anything to the one that does apply. You just leave it there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, most importantly, because we do get this with loan signings, sometimes they want you to notarize a certificate that doesn't belong to any document. That is not okay. Okay, that is against the rules of every state. You don't want to give them a pre-signed or pre-sealed certificate to apply to any document that they want to, all willy-nilly. The certificate that you sign and seal should belong to the document that you attach it to only. Okay? So if you see that, you leave it. You don't fill it out. Now, certificate forms, sometimes you will get a notarization and the certificate is already going to be there. But you still want to make sure that the certificate matches what is allowed in your state. So, for example, I did a loan signing last week, I think. Yeah, last week I did a loan signing. And the documents were drawn up in Georgia, okay? And there were 3 spaces where I did not apply my seal, okay? And the reason I didn't do that is because the certificates were incomplete. So what I should have done was I should have attached a loose certificate and then wrote on the incomplete certificate, see attached certificate, but I did not. This happens, especially when you are approached with something that you don't normally, I don't normally come across that, where the certificate is all the way incomplete. All they had there was my venue and notary signature. That's all they had. It had nothing else. So I didn't apply my seal, okay? But I do know that when that happens, you are supposed to attach a certificate, and I did not. And it happens. You know, sometimes you will forget. You know, the most important thing is if you make a mistake, just correct it. Just correct the mistake and move on. Don't argue about it. Don't try to charge them again for you to come back and correct your mistake. Just own it and correct it. Okay? Because it was only a venue and a signature area, what I should have did was, like I said, strike a line through that incomplete certificate, write see attached certificate, and then I should have attached a loose certificate of my own, which I always have in my bag. Okay. Let's see. Selecting the notary certificate wording. I see a lot of questions in the group. People are saying, hey, somebody contacts me. They want me to notarize this document. This is the document they said it is. What notarization type, what notarization certificate? No, blah. What certificate should I attach, guys? Don't ask that question. That's not for you to decide. We are notaries. We are not attorneys. We are never, ever, ever allowed to choose the notarization type for the signer. You are allowed to explain the difference, the differences between the 2 common ones that they may choose from, which it could be a jurat, it could be an acknowledgement. You explain what both of those are so that they can make an informed decision. If they are not able to make an informed decision, you will have them contact the receiving party. The receiving party is the person that's going to be receiving the document after you notarize it. Ask them, what type of notarization do you want for this document? You can explain the differences to them too. If they don't know, you have to decline the notarization. I cannot choose the type and I cannot just notarize. You'll have someone say, well, I'll just fill out an acknowledgement and jurat, and then you can just have both. No, you cannot do that. Don't do that. They have to decide. Even if they decide on the wrong one, they still have to choose. And that is when you will apply the certificate after they have chosen the type of notarization, okay? Never choose. Don't ask that question. Somebody called you, they want a notarization. What certificate? Don't ask that question. Do not. That's not for you to decide at all. So that is it for that chapter. Did you guys have any questions about notary certificates and applying your seal and types of notarizations.
I had a question.
Okay.
On page 79, when it crossed out affirmed in that second snippet, is that because it was being determined if they were being sworn in, or okay? I just wanted to make sure that was the reason it was crossed out.
Yes, because you give them the option.
Okay, so if they were affirming, then we would cross out the sworn to part.
Right.
Okay.
And you're giving them the option. Either they want to swear to a higher being or they want to affirm on their own honor. It's their choice. And whichever one they choose, that's the one that you mark, that you don't mark off. You mark off the other. Any more questions about this chapter, guys? No? That's pretty good. All right. Now I know the signature remark, that was a doozy. And I know for sure myself, if I ever come across that, I'm definitely gonna be glued to my primer trying to figure that one out. Never had to do one. I hope I never have to, but if I have to, then at least I am equipped with what I need to learn how to do it. Okay. Anybody have an embosser? Anybody use an embosser?
I have an embosser. I plan to use it.
Do you plan to use it?
I have one.
Well, actually, my first question is it allowed in your state to be used for all notarizations by itself?
Yeah. It's not required in New Jersey, but it can be used. Yeah.
Can it be used by itself?
By itself, no.
Okay. So whenever you use it, you always have to still use your ink stamp?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody in a state where their embosser can be used alone? Yeah, a lot of states have done away with that. They don't want you using the embosser. But I was curious to know if there were anybody in a state that did allow it, though. Just curious.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same information as the stamp. It's just the state and notary notation.
Well, one of the reasons why they did away with it is because if you make a copy of that document, the embossing does not show up unless you're applying ink to it, which a lot of people were doing. But the whole purpose of using the embosser was to not only have the imprint, but to feel the texture, because that shows the original document.
Original document, yeah.
So if you make a copy of that, it no longer has that texture from the embosser, right?
Sure.
So because there were too many unknowns with that, they were just like, you know what, let's just go ahead and start doing the ink stamp, because at least with the ink stamp, that can be copied if needed to be needed and all that stuff. So,
okay.
So that's why. Okay. Let's see. Anything? Oh, yeah. Did you guys read about you not being able to have your signature made on a stamp?
Yes, you
That
have
is the
to
chapter.
sign your name. You can't stamp your name.
Original signature, yes.
So many people are asking questions. Somebody actually did it. Somebody had got their signature put on a stamp, said they're going to use that. And they got so much flack from that post, they removed it. But you should not. Some states allow it, so I'm not going to say it's not allowed. But notary best practices, you should not be walking around with a stamp of your signature. Okay? You just should not. You should always just write your signature out. Okay? In wet ink. No copies, no stamps. Now you can have a stamp of your printed name if you want, but you should not have a stamp of your signature. It's just not best practice.
Black and not blue, or either or?
It depends on the state.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? Some states allow notaries to, I've seen the notaries with pink seals. So, I mean, it just depends on the state. You've got to look and see what your state allows.
Okay.
Some of them.
That would be really awesome.
I know, right? It's pink is my
Burgundy,
favorite
I
color.
see.
I've seen some with turquoise. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Lucky you guys. But you just want to check. I think I forget what
Can't
state
go
it is,
wrong with
but
that.
there's one state where it has to be blue. It can't be black. And I don't know what state it is. I've read it somewhere, but I was like, oh, okay.
You should get identified
Now,
as original.
yeah. Now, guys, if you are interested, and like, for those of you who like the embosser look, they do have the round ink stamp that you can use. Now, the only issue with the round ink stamp is that because it's a circle, it's going to be hard for you to squeeze it into some spaces on documents, especially for those documents that give you very little space for your stamp anyway. And they do not make mini round stamps. They make mini rectangle, but not round. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind. But it's absolutely up to you and whatever is allowed in your state. Let's see. Certificate forms. I see a lot of people posting questions. Where do I find those certificates? You can either purchase them or you can make your own. I would recommend you make your own. That way, it's always readily available to you. On your state website, they literally have the printed certificate wording there. All you have to do is copy and paste it onto a Word document. Make sure you add your venue. Make sure you add a block for your signature and printed name and enough space for you to apply your seal. That's literally all you have to do. Make a little line. Everybody know how to, make a little line using your computer for a space for you to, type in the date and the person's name and all that stuff. It's really simple to do. I mean, but if you prefer to buy them, they do have them for sale. They have little pads that you can get. National Notary Association, American Association of Notaries. I'm sure you can probably find them on Amazon too, probably. As long as you just want to make sure that it's state specific because every state has their own little certificate wording. Okay. I think that's it. Did you guys have any questions about that? All right. So what we're going to do is I want you guys to pull out the documents that I sent you because we're going to fill out some notary certificates on those documents. So let's see. The first one I want you to pull out is the lease agreement. I think that's this one, right? Real estate. Let's open this up. Let me look at it. I'll open it up on my end so I can follow along with you. This is one of the documents that I used in one of the training videos that I have on New Notary Basics YouTube channel. And I just wanted to go over it with you guys. If you've already watched the video, then you'll be familiar with how to fill this out. If not, this will be your first time.
Which document did you say?
The residential lease. It's going to, the file type is called real estate. I don't know why my son gotta have his TV so loud. It's making me mad. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to go through this document. Whenever a person presents a general notary document to you, you want to go over the document. Now, your concern is not what the contents of the document is. Your concern is making sure that there are no blanks. And if there are blanks, they should be blanks that are there for a reason. So, like, for example, you know how you get documents for your kids for school and they'll say office use only in one section? Then obviously that part should be blank, because it's for office use. But if you get a document where that is not the case, you want to make sure that any blanks you see are filled in. Okay. And you can do that with a glance over. And then you want to see if there is more than one signer. Is it going to be more than one signer? Then you also want to see if there is a notarial certificate block already printed on the document, or are you going to be adding your own? So after you've reviewed the document, you have this page at the end that does have a notarial certificate block. So you don't have to worry about that. And then you want to look at the certificate and make sure that it has all of the areas that are important to you. Okay. You got to make sure it has the venue. What is the venue? Anybody tell me where the venue is on the certificate?
The state and county where you're notarizing.
Yep, that's right. And then you want to make sure that it has the wording that's going to be telling you what are you certifying during the notarization. And you do have the wording here. Okay. Can anybody tell me what type of notarization this is?
Jurat.
Yes, it is. And why do we know that it's a jurat?
We sworn.
Yep. Bingo. Bingo. Sometimes it's going to say acknowledged in here. Sometimes it's not going to tell you at all. But there are going to be some words in there where you can just pretty much assume what it is. And then if you can't, always ask the customer. And then after that, we want to make sure we have an area to sign and seal. And we do. Okay? So
with
you
this,
have, yeah.
I'm sorry. With this, because it's a jurat, you have to administer the oath or affirmation.
Yes.
And that occurs after the signer has, well, the signer's already signed, but okay, I see.
Nope, the signer has not signed the document. You see the signature here is empty.
True. So it would occur after the signer has signed.
Before.
Before? That's when the
Yes.
oath of affirmation is administered?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because how are you going to have them sign that they swore to something and you didn't have them swear to anything?
Okay.
So definitely have them sign after they've done the swearing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Under I think the third page, under landlord's disclosure,
Mhm.
there's some blank fields. Do we draw some lines through those, or?
You can so that there is, but you don't do it. You have them do it. Okay, you have them put a line through with their initials and today's date. If you are notarizing the document on the date that they made the line through, then they don't have to put the date. But if they had did this like today and the notarization was occurring tomorrow, then they would initiate date on the date that they made the correction or, the crossing out.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I want you guys to go ahead and fill out your certificates here. And then I want you to also do a journal entry for it, using the information that you have and then using made up information for the rest that's required. Now, I will tell you guys the rule of thumb is you should complete your journal prior to notarizing a document, okay? You want to make sure you notarize, make sure that the person has valid ID and, yada, yada, yada. And then you're going to notarize a document. Do not notarize a document before you complete your journal. Anaya, turn your brother's stuff off in his room. I need my water. Downstairs. How you guys doing? We're filling out your journal entry for this. Let me go back and see if there's anything in the chat. It's not unmuting, is it? Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, are you guys done?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. All right, so let's go to the journal. Let's do the journal first, and then we're going to go over the certificate. Go back to my little journal copy here. All right, so in the first block, what are we putting for month, day, year, time of notarization?
July 13, 2021.
What about the time?
Oh, hold on. Right now.
Yep. All right, what about kind or type of notarization?
Jurat.
All right. Is there a document date?
April 15, 2021. Today's
Okay.
date. No, it's the date that the
Let's-
document was created.
Right. All right. Now, document kind or type.
What is that date then? The date the document was created?
Yep, it says on the very top line, this lease is made on April 15, 2021.
Okay, that's the date. That's what I had. Okay.
Okay. Document kind or type.
Residential lease? Or
Yep.
is it affidavit of Oh, okay.
It's residential lease. It's the title of the document. All right. And then name and address of signer. Now, what do you guys notice about this transaction? We have one or two signers?
Signers.
We have two signers.
Two signers.
There's
We have
two
two
signers?
signers. We have the landlord and the tenant.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing two journal entries.
Right.
Okay. So for your first journal entry, who'd you put?
Tracy.
Adam, landlord.
All
I
right.
didn't even think about Adam, so I didn't even make him an entry.
It's okay. That's why we're practicing. And then he has his name and address there.
Hmm.
Now, you had to kind of make up the rest of this. So identification of signer. What'd you go with?
I picked ID card.
All right. Now you see right there where it says a dash and describe each card below. In those spaces, that's where you will put the ID information. So you will put issuer type, ID type, ID number, issue date, expiration date.
Oh, wow. Those spaces are so tiny. I thought it was just supposed to be like the ID number. And then do we try to fit issue date and expired on the same line?
You know what? I was reading that it said you don't have to put both. So let me see where I read that at. Because I put both in my journal, but I was reading that let me see. Document. Okay. The journal entry should indicate in detail which of the three methods the notary used to identify each signer. The notary would enter either personal knowledge, credible identifying witness, plus the witness signature, printed name and address, or the identification document's title or type, the issuing agency, serial number, and date of issuance or expiration. So you don't have to put both. You put one or the other.
Okay, so we would have to put who issued it. So it'll be like Florida DMV.
Florida, whatever the state is, it's the issuance. And then you would put, the document's title or type, which is driver's license or passport.
Okay.
Now, as far as this goes, guys, I would definitely look at my state handbook to see, because it says date of issuance or expiration. I would look at my state handbook to see what do they want me to put. Do they want me to put both? Do they want me to put one or the other? Which one? All right. Now, what about additional information? Will we put anything there?
No.
Yeah, I don't see a need to. And what about notary fee? What would you
$10.
charge?
I Googled it.
What would you charge?
$10. I went to the NNA website and looked up the state fees.
Okay. What state are you in?
I'm in Florida.
Okay. So you can charge $10, but the state fee is $10 per notarial act. In this document, you're performing more than one notarial act. You have 2 certificates, so you're going to be signing twice and applying your seal twice. So what are you going to charge for Adam and then charge for Tracy?
New Jersey, $250 each.
Oh, it can only be a total, even though it's 2 separate?
Nope. In your journal entry, you will be putting the $10. But what I was asking was, what are you going to charge each person?
$10.
So your total for this whole transaction will be
$5.
Will be.
Trying to trick me.
No, I'm not.
Because you
Look.
said there's two different certificates, right? And
It is 2 different certificates. And in Florida, we charge $10 per notarial act. I'm performing 2 notarial acts here because I have 2 certificates that I'm signing and sealing. So I'm going to be getting $20 for this whole transaction because I'm going to charge Adam 10 and I'm going to charge Tracy 10.
Oh, so in the journal, even though it's 2 different things, it's one total?
Nope. In the journal, you're going to put that you charged Adam $10 and you're going to put that you charged Tracy $10.
Okay, that's what I was saying. I got confused. I feel like this was a trick, and then we were saying all these words, and I got befuddled. Okay, yes, $10 for Tracy, $10 for Adam, and then I didn't.
Yes, absolutely. I was looking like, well, you just gonna just give your money away, huh? You're not gonna charge the whole
I said
thing.
10, but then I was like, wait a minute, like I'm confused. I thought it was $10 for each one. Okay, we're good.
Okay,
$10.
you're right then. You're right. So then I was confused. Okay, so yes, you're right. Okay, so we're gonna put the fee for
$250. I was like, what?
$250
in New Jersey. Yes.
It's $250 for 2 notarial acts in
No,
Jersey?
$2.50.
Oh, I was about to say, I need some.
We gotta work real hard over here.
Oh man. Dang. Okay. All right, so we're done with that first journal entry, which was for Adam Landlord. Did you guys do the same thing for Tracy?
Yes.
Okay. It's basically the same thing. The only difference is the person's name and address is different, but the same notarization, same notary document date and notarization type. Ooh, I can't talk. Sorry. All right, so
I have one question. I think I can charge. Let me just say, do you charge for the oath and affirmation as a separate charge as well? I know that, the notarization is one thing, but the oath and affirmation is kind of like a separate notarial act, right?
Right. It is, but I wouldn't. Usually with the jurat, you're always gonna most likely have an oath and affirmation. Always.
Okay.
But in my notary primer, I think that for jurats, we charge $10. We charge $10 for acknowledgements. We charge $10 for jurats. I'm gonna have to look and see if they have like a separate price for that, because usually so in that case, then you would say that when you perform a jurat, you're always going to charge double because you're always going to have that swear or affirmation for jurats.
Actually, I just checked. Yes, it is oaths and affirmations in New Jersey is $2.50, and the jurat itself is $2.50. So I can do. I can get up to 10 for both of them.
Okay. That was a really good question.
Yeah.
Okay,
I never thought of it that way.
Because on the thing, when it breaks down the price, it's one for each column. I just assumed it was all one. So you're saying it can be two?
It could be more than one notarial act form.
$10 for acknowledgement, $10 for jurats, and $10 for verbal oath or affirmations is what it says.
Yeah. So in that case, we would have 4 entries in the journal record.
No, you can. You know what? That is a question that I think that you should call your state and ask them.
Okay.
Because now you got my wheels turning too on that, and I'm gonna have to check with my state to see if that's the case.
Right, because then it would be a record for the jurat, and then a record for the oath and affirmation for each person in the journal record. Okay, I'll check.
Yeah,
I
we're
didn't
gonna have to check and
report
get
it as
back.
that. It just dawned on me. I didn't report it that way.
Illinois
definitely
only charges $1 for everything. That's crazy.
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. I'll check.
All right. So you guys filled out the certificate. What did you put for the venue?
My state and county.
Okay. Now, what about in this blank here where it says on, comma, the person noted above?
July 13, 2021.
Good job. Yep. And then it also has here he or she. Are we going to be fixing that or leaving that?
Crossing out she for Adam and crossing out he for Tracy. Well, Tracy could be a he.
It could be, but it's the girl on this one. And then you're going to be signing. Now, what are you putting here? Notary public in and for the county of, state of?
My state and my county. My county, my state.
Or it could also be your state and whatever county you're in at the time of notarization, remember? But for this practice, because you are at home, we're going to use our own county and own state. But remember, the state is always going to be where you're commissioned, but the county will differ because the county is going to be wherever you are at the time that you're performing this notarization.
What is the damage with not crossing out the qualifier? He, she, they, them.
The certificate will be deemed incomplete.
It would. Okay.
It's not complete if you're not specifying which one, right? You have to make sure that the whole certificate, your whole notarial certificate is completed in its entirety in order for the notarization to be valid, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, quick question. Okay,
Yes.
so the top part where it says state of, county of, that is going to also be what county I'm currently located in, or only the bottom one because it says in and for the county of?
They should be the same.
Okay.
It's going to be wherever you are at the time of notarization. The state is going to always be the state you're commissioned in, but the county is going to be wherever you are at the time of notarization.
Got it.
And then what are we putting here for my commission is valid until?
When it expires.
Yep. Guys are right. Let's see. I got some messages coming in here. Bye. Thank you for your time. All right. I missed a lot here and there, but I am able to catch a few things here and there. I also want to say thank you for all that you do. And I want to ask what book you are looking in. I need to purchase it. Okay. The book that we are looking in right now is the Complete How-To Guide for Notaries. And you can find it on nationalnotary.org in their books, notary books. I'm not showing a picture right now, Jessica.
Okay.
All right, guys. So that's it for that document. You're welcome. So we're going to go on to the next document and then we'll be done. What do you guys, how do you guys feel about these samples here, the certificate and journal entries? Feel like it's helping a little?
Excited.
Great. Hands-on.
All right.
Very helpful.
All right. All right, great. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, do a little bit more tonight with you guys. All right, let's go to the next one. We're going to be looking at, let me close out, Georgia Revocation of Power of Attorney form. So just from the title, what do you guys think this Power of Attorney form is for?
Reversing something?
Jail. Yes, the principal is removing a person as their power of attorney. No. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to examine the document and make sure that there are no blanks. And if you notice, what is one thing you guys notice about the document? I'm not going to give that away. What do you notice right away about this document? It's different from the last document. Let me see what somebody wrote in here. The date, no.
And it's not completed. This is not there. It's not completed. The notary stuff?
Well, the notary part is not going to be completed. You have to complete that part.
2008.
Oh, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah, but no, that wasn't what I was meaning.
Okay.
There is a significant difference here in this document than what it was on the other document.
It's an acknowledgement.
Is it 2 different dates?
It's the date and then April.
The 12th and the 15th.
Before the signature of the principal. Wait a minute. Wait, look at the dated State of Georgia, this 15th date of April. See, it's missing the date 2021. Above the Renee Stiggs signature.
You guys give up?
That's filled out because it's just a big space. I give up. No, wait, I don't give up just yet.
Yes, Jackie. The difference is this person signed the document before they came to you. If you notice on the other document, they did not sign the document. And it was good that they didn't because that notarization was a jurat. And we all know that with jurats, that document needs to be signed in your presence.
Okay.
This person signed this document. So right away, when I see that they've signed the document, I want to check and see what the type of notarization is. If this was not an acknowledgement and it was a jurat, I would have the person line through their name, initial it, and sign their name again in my presence. Okay? But because it's an acknowledgement, they can sign the document with, prior to notarization, and all they have to do is acknowledge that that's their signature. So you would ask them, is this your signature on the document? Yes, it is. Okay. And then in your journal entry under additional information, you can notate that member acknowledged they signed the document prior to notarization, or they signed the document not in my presence, or whatever you want to put. Basically stating that they signed this document first and you didn't know, or you weren't aware, or whatever. Okay. Now, what you guys were saying about the notary block down here, you're right. It doesn't have a line for you to sign and print your name. Okay. So what you can do is, instead of this whole notarial block just being a waste, and you drawing a line through it and attaching a loose certificate, you could just draw a line and print your name and draw another line and sign your name. You could put your notary expiration for commission, and then you're going to apply your seal anywhere closest to your signature. But you can't cover this with your seal. That's not allowed. You should not cover any images or words with your seal. It should always be put in a blank spot, but closest to your signature. Sometimes you may have to apply it in the margin here. I've had to do that before. Sometimes you have to apply it up under, but no matter what, make sure it's closest to your signature as you can get it. So I want you guys to go ahead and fill out a journal entry for this. Make up any information that you would need to. And then I want you to go ahead and fill out your notarial certificate and add the missing information, okay? And let me know when you're done.
I have a question. Is it necessary to put the expiration date if your seal already has it?
That's right. You don't have to if your seal does have it, but some states don't have the information printed on it, so then you would have to write it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Key, it is. I'm sorry, my computer is delayed with me muting my microphone and unmuting it.
It's okay. The kids are acting a little wild tonight, so I didn't get a chance to participate like I needed to. So I'm going to review the video.
Okay.
All right. Y'all have a good evening.
You too. All right, Jackie, have a good one. Let me know when you guys are done with that. This one's a little easier because it was only one journal entry.
Done.
All right, you guys ready? So, in our first column here, where are we putting for the month, day, year, time of notarization?
Today.
All right, Marlo, thank you for joining. Have a good one. Yeah, we're putting today and we're putting the time now. What about the type of notarization?
Acknowledgement.
All right. And what about the document date?
April 15th.
Yep, that's right, because where you see April 12th, it told them to specify when the person was given the power of attorney. So that's what those dates are. But this document is dated the 15th of April. This is the day that they are revoking power of attorney. All right, guys, have a good night. All right. And document kind or type.
Revocation, power of attorney.
Yes. And then for the name and address.
Renee, whatever her last name is.
Renee sign.
Right. Renee Signer is the principal, and she's revoking Alex for power of attorney. So Renee Signer is the person who you're notarizing for. What about identification of signer? What do we do?
ID and her this issuer, expiration date, and the type of ID.
All right, good deal. What about additional information? Are we going to put anything there?
Yes.
Okay, what are we going to be putting there?
We're notating that she confirmed that's her signature and that she signed beforehand.
Okay. And then notary fee for this transaction.
$10.
All right, good deal. Now we're going to fill out our certificate. So right away, what do we notice that we have to do with the certificate, guys?
Cross out the state of Georgia because I'm not personally in Georgia.
Yes. Correct. You don't have to write, strike a line all the way through, though. You can just strike a line through the state and leave state of, and then put your state. Of course, you're going to strike a line through, put your initials, and then write your state. And then you're going to write the county where you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're commissioned or where you're at the time of notarization.
Where you're physically standing.
Yep. And then before me in notary public and in for said county and state personally appear the above name who acknowledge that he or she.
Cross out he.
All right. Did sign the foregoing instrument and that the same is his or her.
Cross out his.
Free and voluntary act and deed. Okay. And then we're going to be drawing a line here for our printed name and signature, right?
Yes.
And then like someone mentioned, if you're notary stamp already has the expiration date, you don't need to put the expiration date there. But we do want to make sure that we don't do what with this area.
Stamp over anything.
Yep. We're going to put our stamp where?
It needs seal.
Closest to our signature.
We need to draw a line through that statement.
Say it again.
We need to draw a line through that statement.
Draw a line through here. Oh, you don't have to. If you put your stamp there, then you know it's going to have the expiration date on there, right? But if you want to, you can. Absolutely. You don't have to, though. Okay. All right, guys. Did you have any questions about this notarization? All right. Well, we are all done with practice, and we're done with reviewing chapters 6 and 7. So, did you guys have any questions about everything that we did?
I just find that sometimes the dates are a little confusing, especially if you're looking to record the date of the document, like on this document. And are there any tricks?
Well, that's why you want to read. You want to read the document. Like I say, you don't need to be concerned with the contents in particular, but have a good night, Jackie. But when it comes to that, you want to kind of read, like, why do I have all of these different dates here? And then when you read, it's going to be saying, Renee appointed Alice Power as attorney, in fact, for her, dated April 12th of 2008. And then it's also asking here, what power of attorney is she revoking? She's revoking the one that was dated April 12th, 2008. So then you're like, oh, that's why those dates are there.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you're like, state of Georgia, this 15th day. Oh, that's the document date. And then, so then you just skim through it and read it. Nothing wrong with doing that because you want to make sure that you're doing things correctly.
Thank you.
All right, Jessica. Yeah, definitely get the book and catch up with us. The complete how-to guide for notaries. Actually, if you go in the group and you look in the events, I have the actual picture of the book there. And it's on National Notary Association's website. All righty. All right, guys. Well, no, there's not really any tricks to it. Just make sure you just read the document before you, do anything, because you want to make sure that you understand what you're notarizing. Most importantly, okay?
Jessica, if you are an NNA member, you don't have to pay for it. You can just download the PDF. And I don't know if you guys saw, but like the other day, somebody said something so genius. I'm like, why didn't I think of this? She took it to like FedEx or whatever, and had them bind it, make it a book for her. They printed it and bound it, and it was only $5. And I was like, I've just been using up my ink printing this stuff out.
Yes. That's the way to do it, guys. If you got access to a digital copy, why not? Because all you gotta do is download it to your computer. You can follow along on the computer, or like she did, print it out and get it bound so you can keep it and have it to look back at.
I do have one question. When you're done with the notarization, the certification, do you attach it to like the lease, residential lease? Would you attach it to that, or it doesn't really matter? You just give it back to the client, everything.
Yeah, you give everything back to them. Yeah, everything. If you have to apply a loose certificate, you just give it back to them like that. But that document already had a pre-printed certificate, so all you're doing is you're notarizing the document and giving it right back to them.
And you don't have to staple anything together. That's not necessary.
No. Now, if it's allowed, I always staple my loose certificate if I have to use one. But you have some documents where that's not allowed, so I'll give them a paper clip to keep all the documents together. Like I did today. I had 2 notarizations today, and they were multiple pages. So I just gave them a paper clip because with those type of documents, I just didn't think I should put a staple in it. So I gave them a paper clip.
Okay.
Okay, you guys, anybody have questions? All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this book club meeting. It was kind of long, but it was with good reason because we did some practicing, and I hope that you guys were able to get a lot from the practicing. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this recording. You guys have a good night, and we're gonna meet again, same time, same day, next week, Tuesday, and we're gonna be reviewing chapter 8 and 9 this time, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All
Good
right.
night. Thank you.
You
And have
guys
a
are
good
very
night.
welcome. Good night.
Bye.